Welcome to today's Explainer. We're doing something, well, a little different today, but honestly, it is incredibly fascinating. We're taking a source text based on the ancient Bhrigu Nandi Nadi astrological system, specifically looking at the placement of the sun in the first house, and we're translating it into a highly actionable modern leadership playbook. Think of this as high-level executive coaching derived straight from a classical text, designed to help you understand your own authority, your reputation, and the real physical and social costs of leadership.
So what actually happens when ancient astrological karma dictates modern corporate leadership? It sounds like a total clash of two different worlds, right? But whether you look at this through a spiritual lens or just as a deeply accurate psychological profile, the characteristics outlined in the source material perfectly describe a very specific type of modern executive. As we go through this, we're going to see how understanding this core archetype can completely change how you manage your career trajectory, your physical health, your relationships, and maybe most importantly, your ego.
Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the sun leadership archetype, move into paternal karma and success roots, then managing health, ego, and marriage. After that, planetary combinations in management, a real-world scenario on navigating office politics, and finally, a checklist for humble authority. Let's get into it.
Section 1, the sun leadership archetype.
The absolute most crucial thing to understand here is that this leader is highly, highly visible. Even if they aren't actively trying to be the center of attention, their presence just naturally commands it. The source text notes that they have a very strong self-identity, and this natural, almost built-in inclination toward administration and management. But here's the major friction point. Because they are so naturally wired to lead, they find it incredibly difficult to work under controlling managers. Their entire focus is geared toward public dignity, honor, and social respect. For this archetype, public embarrassment isn't just uncomfortable, it is fundamentally destabilizing to their core.
Section 2, paternal karma and success roots. Now look at the progression of this karmic timeline because it essentially looks backward to explain your current drive for success. The source emphasizes that the father's karma, so his status, his profession, or even his struggles, plays a massive, massive role in shaping your early life direction. It becomes this major karmic theme for you. But notice the future state here. True progress for this archetype isn't inherited. It's just not handed to you. To reach your actual potential, you have to step away from those family systems. Your career is only going to rise through intense self-effort and taking your own initiative. You basically have to build your own independent path to gain that respect you crave.
Section 3, managing health, ego, and marriage. If you're sitting in a leadership role right now and you fit this profile, you absolutely must manage what the ancient text called pitta, or body heat. We see this literally all the time in high-stress executive environments. The intense focus and drive of the sun translate physically into excess heat in the body. So, what does that mean for you? It means you're highly prone to chronic eye strain, frequent headaches, high blood pressure, and inflammatory conditions like really severe acidity. And guys, this isn't just a metaphor. It's a physiological response to the extreme pressure you're putting on yourself. To sustain your career long-term, managing this internal heat is completely non-negotiable if you want to avoid burning out physically.
And well, here we see how that exact same intense heat can burn down your personal life too. An unchecked sun creates an overwhelming personality. In a marriage, or any deep partnership really, this creates massive ego conflicts. The partner often ends up feeling entirely overshadowed by your ambition and your need for control, which, as the text points out, leads to deep marital suffering. But conversely, a balanced sun, which the text notes is softened by benefic influences, learns to actually share authority. It replaces that rigid pride with mutual respect, allowing both the executive and their partner to thrive together.
Section 4. Planetary combinations in management. Okay, let's explore how different planetary pairings basically act as modifiers to your highly specific management style. This table is a fantastic guide. So if your sun energy is combined with Jupiter, you become the respected advisor. Think of a wise corporate mentor or a thought leader who guides the entire company. But combine the sun with Rahu, and you get an intensely ambitious, unconventional rise that's often marked by controversy. We see this all the time in tech disruptors. Add Saturn to the mix, and you get a strictly authoritative leader who faces immense struggles and karmic delays, meaning your success is hard-earned over decades. And finally, Sun paired with Mars, that creates a fiercely powerful and aggressively dominant commander in the boardroom. Knowing your specific modifier completely dictates how you should be strategizing your career. Section 5, Scenario, Navigating Office Politics. Let's ground all of this in a hypothetical modern workplace scenario, just to see this archetype in action. Imagine an executive trying to finalize a really difficult corporate merger. Their internal thought process is probably going something exactly like this. To finalize this merger, I am bypassing middle management debates and taking this directly to my contacts in the Regulatory Commission. This quote perfectly captures the executive who flat out refuses to get bogged down in petty office politics. They inherently view themselves at a higher level, and their immediate instinct is to just cut through all the red tape and deal directly with top authority figures to get the job done.
And you know what? The source text validates this exact approach. If you have this placement, your most effective professional strategy is utilizing your natural affinity for influential people. You are naturally wired to benefit from government institutions, high-ranking officers, and political networks. So when you face internal workplace friction, your best move is not to get down and fight in the mud. Instead, leverage those high-level administrative connections to rise completely above the noise and implement your vision from the top down.
Section 6. Checklist for Humble Authority. Finally, let's lock in the solutions with a practical guide, because the source explicitly states that the primary spiritual lesson for this placement is humility. So let's master that through some simple mindfulness habits. Step 1. Notice the physical signs of rising heat or anger. You know the feeling, the tightness in your chest, the sudden headache, that instant flash of frustration. Step 2. Utilize the pause. During high-pressure interactions, your absolute first instinct is going to be to dominate. Pausing allows you to maintain the composure that true leadership requires. And step 3, consciously, deliberately share the credit with your team. You have to do this to balance the ego.
So here is your daily management checklist. First off, you must treat humility not as some kind of weakness, but as your primary karmic test. And because you care so deeply about your image, you've got to protect your social reputation by strictly avoiding public ego clashes. The text is very, very clear on this next point. Your true success will only peak after you learn to manage your pride. So acknowledge that your presence naturally attracts attention and just make sure it's for the right reasons. Ultimately, the goal is transitioning from leading by dominating to leading by empowering those around you. I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder as you reflect on your own approach to power, your reputation, and your professional success. The energy of the sun is absolutely vital for growth, but without conscious management, it simply scorches everything around it. So, will your need for recognition burn down your relationships, or will you master the humility required for true leadership? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this playbook helps you navigate your own path to the top with a bit more clarity and a whole lot more balance. See you next time.